What's up, gentlemen? How you doing on this Friday? It is Friday the 13th, November 13th, and yeah, here she is in all her glory. We just see Jeter this morning in the back over there and struggled to bring her in front of camera, but CG is set. She is all set up, ready for Maiden, which hopefully will be Monday. Actually, the weather's gorgeous today, but there's just no time. We gotta be here to do the live show. If I didn't have to do this live show, we'd be out of the field maidening her right now. So probably Monday, and then next Friday, I'll probably hold that footage until next Friday and make, at least that'll be the beginning of the show. You'll see some flights on it. And being that this is so similar to the Zero, which is still fresh, been flying that a lot in my head. I don't think it's going to take me too much time, hopefully, to, I don't think the nerves are going to be as racking on this Maiden as it was for the Zero, because she is absolutely gorgeous, though, guys. Just another stunner from Black Horse. So I see everybody in the comments. Well, first, let me just say, so what you just saw, that's starting soon. I had, forgotten that last week, it happened November 4th, was the final flight of the F-18C and the Blue Angels. So they did their final flights all around Pensacola, I believe, up and down the coast. And I just happened to catch that last night, and I should have did it before last week's show, but I guess the video, I just saw so many videos that popped up, just these random little, 1-minute clips that people put together. So I just sort of grabbed them all, did a little mashup, threw some music on, made it look like, they were all in one flight. But either way, end of an era, right? I mean, about 30-something years. I think it's the longest they've ever been in the same aircraft. I believe it was the 80s they started in that aircraft. If I'm wrong, let me know. If not early 90s, probably. But they've been in that aircraft virtually forever. And then we just found out that they are going to debut the F-18 Super Hornet, which they're switching to October 30th and 31st of 2021 at the Wings Over North Georgia, which is about an hour away from us. So I don't see how we're not going to be able to get over there to witness that. So it'll be, I can't believe it's going to be a whole year before they debut, but I'm just wondering if there's, what's it called? If it's COVID, if it's, whatever it is. I know a lot of these air shows, probably just like other events have been decimated as far as attendance. But I know what they did for North Georgia's air show recently. They let you drive in now, and they give you a 20-foot, 20 by 20 space for your car, and you could set up a tent, and everybody gets spaced out that way. So, but there's no planes. I know that I was going to go to a show about a month ago, but there's no planes that you could walk around and see. So it would just be sitting there, getting there 3 hours early, and then waiting for all the flight demos and trying to explain that to the wife with the young kids that they'll have to wait for 3 hours and virtually do nothing is not very, is not very fun. So, yeah, guys, so the P-47, just wanted to talk about it a bit. Alex, did you have any of the CG footage?
Yes, we got the CG footage.
So this was us earlier in the back, the studio's in the back. This was me finally doing a CG test. I put the batteries this time just all the way forward because, again, I'm going electric on this one. It's the exact same power plant, exact same everything that is in that big Zero. So I just ran the batteries all the way forward this time, and I think you'll see. So they give you, again, with these Black Horse models, which I love, they give you this CG machine. It's molded with the wings, so it fits perfectly. You just slide the wings between these the CG mechanism, and then it's just on a string, and you could just pick it up, and it works really well. It works perfectly for the Zero. So I picked it up, and the batteries slipped forward a little bit as I picked it up, so it ends up being really nose. So I'll do this again, obviously, and, when I get to the field, as I put it together when I'm at the field, I'll re-CG it and such. But we are right about there. So either way, I'm super excited. I wouldn't mind a little nose heaviness, but for the most part, that Zero I have, CG'd perfectly. And this one, you'll see just a little nose as it pops off. So I'm just going to slide those two batteries back a little bit. They are pretty much all the way in the canopy. But she's ready to go. So that's the best thing to do. And I'm excited. The gear, I finally figured out, that was the toughest part, is the gear doors on these things. The Zero has a fixed tail wheel, and it didn't have any. I don't think it has any gear doors, just two that cover, you know, coverings. I shouldn't say they're doors. This one has, like, if you see down here or on the other side, there's like two coverings there, and then the tail wheel. It's hard to show. I can't really move this thing around and manipulate, but we'll show when I get to when we do the flying videos. I'll walk around it and show it all. But getting those to close perfectly and lining up, because they're all done with ball links, the doors, so lining them up, like, you know, you'll get it where, all right, it's closed flush, but then when it opens, it doesn't open the right way, or when the doors are open, they don't close all the way. And it was such a pain in the A, if I could say that, to do. It took me like 2 hours, 3 hours just manipulating, you know, taking the screws out, plugging it back in, lifting her up, and just going around. But either way, once you get it, so that was my toughest part with this one, was the tail doors. And anyone who's built something like this, I'm sure you might have run into that issue. But other than that, everything else is great. So I saw Jim G, you said you got the same prop from, yeah, I got that on eBay. So that is a 20 by 12. So Jim, you asked about the recommendations for this model. So when we get out Monday, we're going to take all the pictures. We're going to finish up. That's what we need to get the website. We have the information, and the last thing we need is the SKU. So once I get the pictures to our web guy, then it'll all go up, and the page will look beautiful, and we'll have all the information there. But virtually, you're going to get the same information. I think the Zero and the Corsair are the same size, similar size. I think they have the same recommendations, so the P-47 isn't going to change off those recommendations. So whatever's recommended for the Zero, at least, is going to be recommended for this. And lastly, I did want to say, when I unboxed this, I made a mistake. So I read off of the paper, and the manual we got to have corrected. It's a stupid mistake. They put the wingspan measurements in the length, and the length in the wingspan. So initially, I had said it's 89 inches long and 80 inches wide. And then I caught myself later on. I'm like, that's impossible. So this is 89 inches wide and 80 inches about. That was me just with a tape measure, you know, going around the bubble, trying to, you know, eyeball it as best I could. So that's your estimate. It's about 80 inches in length, and it is 89 inches wide. I can't wait to have this one. I'm probably going to try to bring the Zero the same day, if I can fit them both, just to have them together, you know, because then you could see. But obviously, the Zero would be a smaller scale, you know, or a larger scale, if you would, to this one. Because in real life, I think this thing would dwarf most warbirds of that era, especially the Zero, I believe. This would just, you know, annihilate. Probably 2 zeros across would take to fill a jug. But either way, it's I'm so excited to get this on, guys. Speaking of the build, I did it over time, a little bit here, a little bit there. I'd say I'm about 8 hours, 10 hours. The hardest thing was just at the end there doing the gear doors. Was just like, for some reason, my head looking at it, I kept doing the wrong thing, sliding up, sliding down, and they wouldn't close right. But finally, we got that taken care of, and we're good. So back to the prop, though. That is a 20 by 12 four blade. I got it on eBay. Jim, if you could tell me, I don't know what the brand was. That was the only one I could find. So I said, you know what, I'm going to do it. And you were right. eBay had initially told me November 17th to December something, and then it came about a week and a half ago now. I posted a picture of it, or last week it came, so I drilled it out, and the last step, Alpha, is 3D printing, which I'm going to have him upload that on the product page. He's 3D printing me, and I showed it, I think, last week or the week before, a hub, because on the electric motor that we have, the Admiral GP60, there's an M5 thread goes into the shaft, because the prop bolts on, obviously, with a plate and 4 head cap screws. So there's no shaft to thread. So he made me something I could put an M5 screw in. So we measured out the hub. We got just the hub, but he's gonna make the full hub with the 4 pieces. So if you want to do a 4-bladed prop that like come off the hub, it's hard to describe. Like the Corsair has it, some of the Flightline birds, the Tiger Cat, the same thing. He's going to make that for me. I probably won't get it by Monday, but eventually I'll have that on there. And then I promise the only upgrade I want to make to this, or customization, I am going to add, I saw the P-47s have those 3 lights underneath the wing. And what I love about the P-47 and these Black Horse models, they're fully sheeted, guys. So there's, this is all wood over the ribbing, which is nice, because then my thought is I'm going to drill 3 circles into the side of the wing. If you ever see a P-47, the lights underneath, it's a green light, a white light, and a red light go in a line, and it goes like right through the roundel on the wing. But so I have 3 more lights, because I put nav lights on the sides. So then I have 3 more lights with that set, and I'm going to drill them out. And since it's sheeted, I'm going to have a place to at least mount the lights inside looking down. I don't want them too close. I want them up more in the middle of the wing, but I think I'll have enough. I'm going to go with a half drill bit, and I should have enough to get my fingers in there and, and work it in. But that's the only addition I think I'm going to add to it. This prop is a wooden prop, yes. It is a wood prop. It comes painted like that. And again, I went with the 2012 because the recommended and the one that I fly on the Zero is a 2212. So I think rule of thumb is every blade you add, you should take off an inch, is about, so that's where I landed. Figured, did the math on it, and we should be good with that. And as far as 10S and 12S, the Zero I only flew on 10S because I put in a 8 to 18 amp ESC, and I don't think 12S, I didn't want to risk it with 12S. This one, though, I got the 120 Opto, so I can go up to 12S, but I think I'm going to maiden it and just go with the same 10S at first. And, obviously I got to run up. That's the last thing I haven't done yet, is run the thing up outside, so I'll probably do that this weekend. Take some time, and if I feel it's going to need it after, and the math tells me, then at least I'll have some more power there. And worst case, if for some reason this prop wouldn't work, then I'll just pop the Zero prop on it and go with it, because it should work that way. But as far as weight, we're about 25 pounds, 24 pounds in here. And overall, I mean, she's heavy. I just love all the ordnance they give you. I love the bombs. The centerline tank is well done. They did a great job. And again, the weathering that's how it comes. But I know if you gave this to Wesley Miller, and they wouldn't have to dot it, the boozers wouldn't have to pop a dot it, but you could probably add some nice, some nice oil streaks, especially going down the cannons. You got 4 cannons that are included. A lot of extra bits with this one versus the other one. So as far as ETA, guys, on the Black Horse containers due sometime in December, I believe. That's going to have a lot of the out-of-stock Black Horse models that you see on there. I believe the Zero has been out of stock for a bit, the big Corsair, and then this one should be on there, will be on there as well. So it's it's not far out, so there's no rush really to get the product page up. We're not going to do a pre-order on this. It'll just be when the product page does come up, click that notify me when back in stock button so you don't miss it. One thing we notice with these balsa planes, they aren't made en masse. They don't get made as many as, say, a Freewing foamy does. So if you really want something, grab it. And especially during this COVID times, it just seems, the builders, the modelers, man, it is, people are eating this stuff up, and that's also hurting stock levels, because I think all hobbies across the board have just seen increases because people are looking for some stuff to do. And I don't blame them, like sitting down playing with this on, is a lot better than other things you could be doing. Especially with the winter time coming too, it's the perfect time to, get building a balsa model. So we're almost there. I'm going to move this. If you see, I put some panels of wood going across the two here. I'm going to just... Oh, is that my coffee? Did I spill it?
That's your coffee.
I spilled my coffee. You should have warned me.
I'm talking to the chat right now.
You're talking to the chat. Now I'm not going to be hyped up on caffeine.
Oh, man, they're going to tear you apart in
and
chat.
Do I have...
For sure.
I don't have a paper towel. My paper towels are out.
Do I need to run upstairs?
Can you run upstairs and grab
right.
a paper towel?
Hopefully nothing goes wrong.
Yeah. Well, I think we should be all right. I think I got this for a minute or so. So my paper towel rack is out. Yeah, I'm done. I got the last bit of the coffee. And anybody, I heard people, we sell these, guys. These are on the website. So you should be, should be drinking out of a Motion RC coffee mug while we're out there. That is a good. Does it look black on the table? Oh, you don't know what I put in my coffee though. I gotta get loose before this show, right? But either way, guys, she's sweet. I'm so excited. So Monday will be the day. Get her there, and I'm ready to go. Now inside, again, I went for redundancy. So I went with, I'm gonna have a separate flight pack for the receiver. I got a separate flight pack for the gear controller, which you need, and then I got a separate the lighting. will have its own little battery that powers the lighting, and then the motor with two 5S 6000s. But I'm gonna bring some 6S 5000s as well. And this one I could probably get. I'll just put two 6000 6S's in there and call it a day. Might as well. Like, weight is not going to be a problem with this one. But yeah, the only thing missing, because again, this one doesn't come in, like the real jug, doesn't come with a prop nut, doesn't come with a, with a spinner, if you will, prop nut. So that's something you would have to source if you're going to go gas, which a lot of guys I can't wait to see. And again, why I'm building these in electric. For myself, I've yet to play with gas. I've promised myself by this time next year, I will have built and flown my own gas model. So I'm probably going to take either this one or the Zero and do an electric conversion. I had to do no cutting at all to fit this motor, except for that little fake radial inside, like the way the GP60 is. You have to cut a big circle out of it if you could sort of see it there. But that's something that's an easy thing to replace. But like, you don't have to cut the cowl. I didn't have to cut the firewall. It's all just screwed in. It all fits flush, so I can easily disassemble, take out, and then when you go to gas, they have all the so I'll just need another servo, one more servo for the throttle, and then work in the ignition. They have a spot for the ignition switch in there and everything. But I'll get some help from guys at my club, and I will, convert one of these and hopefully make some videos. If you guys have seen, we've been doing these quick tip videos, so that will probably be a quick tip. A lot of these quick tips at the start are going to be more geared towards beginners, but they could be about anything. Every Tuesday, we're going to try to have a new quick tip, because we just find it's funny. Some of the videos that we have coming, we have a lot of them filmed now. You Google search these things and you can't find, the information, or they're buried in forums, and it's like a lot of these are really helpful, especially to beginners, the simple things. So, and what I appreciate is all you guys, the guys who are in the know. There's 100 ways to skin a cat. So, like, if we do a video on soldering or a video on whatever, throw in your other ideas. Allow the comment section of those videos to be extra help for people, too. A lot of these are so many ways to do things that you don't have to, there's a million right ways, just as long as we're not doing it wrong. That's the stuff. But George Watch, yeah, it's hard for the plane manufacturers to do a hub and cap. Yeah, they have no idea. Exactly. With a balsa model, they have no idea what power plant. They can't come with a prop because it all varies, depends on the math. It all comes down to the math. You got to know how much weight you're adding to it and such. And obviously, when you're messing with gas, too, you got a fuel tank that is full at the start of the flight and then will slowly drain as you fly, so that could affect your CG. There's a whole nother, thought process behind putting together, a gas bird. But either way, and now I probably wouldn't even be able to use that prop because I had to drill it out with the drill press to make it fit. And that is one of those things. You get a nice, beautiful prop and you're like, just make sure I don't measure it wrong. So I actually just glued that. I put the prop over the hub because it fit perfectly. And then I glued the plate onto the front of the prop with a little foam tack. Then took it off and just drilled right through it. I left the plate right there, so it never moved. So that worked out well, and it just fit with the 4 screws that come with the model, which is great. The only thing also too I would love to do, I think I'm gonna peel the sticker that they have come off for it. You could take your time and cut out. I don't like that it's one sticker. I should have probably cut around each letter and the girl and made it more flush. I'll probably peel that off and maybe just have Callie remake it for me with vinyl, with her graphics. So then it's not as, it's a little too shiny off the top there. Some people said I could put some sort of matte clear coat on it, maybe. But then I feel like I'd probably have to just do the whole cowl so that it all matches. But I don't know if I want to mess with that. But either way, she's killer. So we have, what time is that? So see, I told you, Alex, I could burn 20 minutes on the P-47 like that. Some of these shows, guys, when you don't have too much to go, it's like, we promised you an hour. We got destroyed by ETA. It just killed our ability to go out and fly this week. So a lot of what I was doing was this, and you You're trying to come up with a show. Like, we don't know what next week's show is going to be. Pontiac, I promise, as soon as I know about the TV for the Gripen, everybody will know. I'll jump in the forums. I'll jump in the comment section of everything, and you will know. You don't no longer need to ask. If you haven't heard anything from us, we don't have that estimation yet. As soon as I know, I promise. We want to get a firm ETA and just make sure. Because, you know, one thing about Freewing, we have a great relationship with Freewing. They might order a ton of stuff. You know, we order a lot from them, right? They might have 3 containers parked at their factory. I saw a lot of people talking about, you know, how do they not know what's on one container or whatnot? They move things from container to container because they're trying to obviously fill the space as efficiently as possible. So we might order something and we don't get a guarantee on exactly when it's going to come in because a container's pretty much always leaving and one's always showing up to be loaded. So they might say, oh, you know what? The logistics of this container say these 20 of these, you know, they might split an order in half and things like that. So that's why we don't have a direct ETA yet. And also, we work with a lot of our distributors. Sometimes containers come and they have mix from different, you know, manufacturers because a lot of them are close to each other. So you're trying to find ways to, you know, help everything. So either way, they will be coming.
Let's give it another look for some of the latecomers.
Some of the latecomers?
I want to see a nice shot of it before we move on.
Do you want to fill this up with coffee and knock it over?
Again?
It's funny. So this table, when I cut this was a 4x8 sheet of plywood, but it's 3x8. I ripped off a foot on it. So this is 3 feet. I can't put the model, doesn't sit like 3 feet. Both tires are just off. So the wheelbase is about 36 inches the other way. But what I can do too, so I just want to make sure, last thing I want.
You got some room up front?
I got some room up front?
Yeah, I see wood. Getting close.
There you go. We're like right at the edges.
Right about there.
So Alex is going to move around. Actually, I'll show you. So if you remember, I have that ZOHD dusk lighting system is what I went with for the lights. So I could plug those in real quick. I would drop the gear and such, but I'm not putting it up on the thing right now. No, thank you. Let's see. There we go. The light's on.
Yeah, I see the red.
So he's got the red on the tip. Is that on?
Yeah, I think so. It just lit up.
Oh, it just lit up, and I think it just fell. Oh, there it is. I didn't have it plugged in fully. So there's the red on the tip, and then that's one thing I have to do. You could put a servo lead from this box from the ZOHD plane, from the ZOHD control box, which is right here, this little thing. So that's what my lights are plugged into. So again, it comes with 2 nav lights, so 1 red, 1 green. Then the other 3 lights that are in the box are all white. But I can plug them all in, and what I'm probably going to do is get like an amber gel, a green gel, and a clear gel when I use those 3 lights there. Or I may just buy another one of these to get an actual red and actual green light, and the white when I put the lights on the wing. But you plug a servo lead into here. I just don't have another another port on the receiver I'm using. But you could plug that into a port, and then on 3-position switch, you could have all the lights off. You could have just the nav lights on, and then the nav and the landing lights. You know, I was trying to find information about the P-47 lighting. I don't know if the lights under the wing would be off at times, or if they're just always on. I'm actually not even sure what they would be for. I just found some pictures of them. I know that they have them scale, but if anybody knows, if anybody has any information as to, you know, were they just for landing lights? Were they to...
Oh, they were talking about it. That's what I was commenting on before when you spoke
okay. Was it to
somebody
let...
told us they talk Morse code. I think it was
Oh,
Nate.
okay.
They
All
said
right.
They talk Morse code so they don't get picked up over radio.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
So
and also, I was thinking if
our
you...
next release is going to be released through Morse code on this Maiden plane.
There you go. That makes sense. Because I was going to say, it could be the type of thing where, you know, if you're flying at night, that the Allies knew that this was their bird coming, because I'm sure the Axis didn't do those lights, you know, like the invasion stripes, right? That was helped to see that, oh, that's one of us. You know, all that type of stuff. But either way, guys, I know you want to see the gear. I promise. I'll show the gear. There's no way I'm flipping.
I have to come over there and help you lift it.
No way I'm flipping this around or lifting it up. Like, it's right on the edge of the table here now. But I'm going to move it back over. And then, guys, like I promised, if you're joining this late, this show, as I spoke, Monday's looking like, well, let me talk to the mic.
Show the gear!
Monday's looking like a beautiful day. It's looking like a perfect Maiden day. So if it's the case, first thing we're doing is running out on Monday and getting this done. So the rest of this show, be quick, the tail gear, yes, RC Air Marshal. Oh, so that's one last thing. So the landing gear controller, it's a box inside, and you'd see pictures on it on other Black Horse models. It gives you the ability to do sequence gear doors. You could add brakes to it, and it runs its own power. So I have a nickel metal running that. But the retracts and the struts, they come with the model, which is great, and they're electric retracts. But the servo wire, the wire coming off the retract, is just 2 leads. So it's what would be the signal and the negative, if you will. So when I plugged all 3 in, for whatever reason, when I first did it, when I flipped the switch, the mains came down and the tail went up. When I flipped the switch, the tail went down and the mains went up. And no matter what I did, I thought, oh, let me just re-rack them. I re-racked them, plugged it all in, shut everything down, plugged it back in, no matter what I did. So then Dave, I am not an electrician. My father was. I should know better. But I talked to Dave Marshall about it, and he said he doesn't believe I'd burn out the servo. He was like, you should just be able to turn it upside down. So I turned the tail servo just upside down into the port, and it worked. So he believed, I think, what'd you say, Dave? It was like it was getting positive voltage, we'll send it one way, and negative voltage, will send it the other way. So I guess when the one I got, the tail gear, because again, this was the sample, maybe they just, when they made them, they just put the wrong wire into the wrong port. Is probably what happened. But you're able to just swap those wires. If you get into that issue, they can just be turned upside down, or just take the cap off, replace them. But I just spun it upside down and went with it. So we appreciated the Blue Angels. Which comment, Arthur? Did we see his comment? I don't know. Do you want to scroll up? Do you see my comments? I see that comment now, Arthur. I'm trying to.
I see. Hi,
I'm trying to talk. There you go. That's what RC Air Marshal. It's just a DC motor in the retract. So it's the control box is just reversing the polarity. That makes more sense. And but that was good. I thought I was going to burn out the tail wheel, and then I was, SOL, if you will, or I just would have been flying with a tail, with the tail door just open the whole time, and I don't want to do that. So that's not what I want to do. Beats comment. Oh, I'm sorry, GB. I can only imagine, man, what I'm missing out of you up there. But anyway, 172 in the room. Thank you guys so much. If you can hit the like button for me, that would be great. But either way. So that'll do it for this, guys. We got a pack. So what I want to say, to all you veterans out there, Wednesday was Veterans Day. I want to say thank you for your service and, continued service for any veterans who are still, in service. It's a big day. We're a veteran-run company, so, we didn't make any posts. I just made the one post, and, we didn't make anything live that day. It was, that's a day. That's a good day, if you will. So I just wanted to thank all of you guys for that. And then I see the Patrinsic brothers are in here, and I want to congratulate them. 35,000 subscribers, I believe. 10 million views. They had a cake on there, and I saw that Robert was in here, and Blaj, congratulations, guys. I mean, that's remarkable.
What a journey.
Yeah, it's got to be more than just RC people, and that's like sort of where Flight Test went, right? Like, they are more than just an RC channel. They are an entertainment channel. Like, there's only so much we can do with this channel. We're Motion RC. We got to show, our YouTube channel is really just an encyclopedia of our products. We got to get the information out there so people know the products we sell. We're not chasing views as much as we're chasing information. But, when you're working independent, like the Patrinsic brothers, they're just entertaining as is, and that's what makes it awesome. Somebody who's not an RC person can get enjoyment out of that. Like, I don't know if a non-RC person, like my wife watches the show, she's bored out of her face in 2 seconds, and I understand, it's just that's the way it is. But like Flight Test, those guys are building the craziest stuff. Who couldn't watch that? I mean, they make TV shows about storage facilities and pawn shops. They could totally, I don't know why the Flight Test or the Petrinchik brothers go get on History Channel, because they don't do history there. They just do entertainment. So you might be able to be a TV star with those personalities. But either way, congratulations to you guys too, and love you guys over there, and everything. So let's get to the community, my man. We are already halfway through the show, and I'm so afraid I'm gonna knock into this wing. I am like so petrified of that I'm just gonna back into it. I knocked my coffee over. Starting with Spencer Keith. Is he in the room?
I think I saw him. Yep.
Spencer, so we're on Hobby Squawk. Spencer did some mains. He almost has every Freewing jet. I think that's his goal, to eventually have all of them. So he said he made into his F4, stock in the C camo scheme, and then the F-16, which I only have the Thunderbirds one. I never got this one, but with the anniversary edition tail, he made in those two bad boys, and then he was excited his other recent one was the Tomcat. So I want to call out Spencer. He's usually in the chat, and it figures usually when I call people out, they're not there. Yeah, they're not in the chat on the days they finally get called out. So Spencer, if you watch the replay, good on you, buddy, to see that. We had F-106 Delta Dart, or Michael Rosnick. He got out with his Blackbird, I believe. Blackhawk. I love seeing this guy takes Michael. We met him before numerous times. He's actually works for Bell, I believe. Works on helicopters. So he's a big helicopter nut, and he always gets. It's not just about the helis. He does great work on like this Apache, but he also gets stunning pictures. I don't know who he brings with him, or I think he brings a camera and then hands it to somebody. But he always gets beautiful pictures, and I don't care. Something about the Roban and the scale helis, they just look real compared to everything else. Like this P-47 might look real in the right lighting, but, with a gas motor maybe in a picture, but never going to look like this. And, just something about these things. And when they hover, they're always a pleasure to see. If you ever can get to like a scale heli show or something, there's one up here in Georgia that they do once a year up north. It's fantastic. Then we have Air Guardian. I don't know where he's at, if he's in the chat today, but he posted this picture. So what was the maneuver? I wrote the maneuver. A Colbit maneuver. I think that's in his Su-30 and his Su-35.
Nice catch.
Always say Su. But he composed this picture from stills. He took stills from his video camera and compiled this picture because he said, in real time, you really don't get a chance to see exactly what he's doing. But now it's not a Cobra because he does flip the other way. So it's not going back, bringing your nose up, and then pushing the nose back forward to go down. That would be amazing. That was something I would love to see. I think you need the 1-to-1 thrust ratio to do it. But either way, so that is a down. So he does backflip that way. But the way he describes it, he's like, for a couple seconds, or for 2 milliseconds, the plane, when it's backwards, is actually flying forwards backwards, if you will. Awesome. It's moving. It's all still moving forwards. Yeah. So it's in essence flying upside down and backwards for a couple seconds before it rotates down. So I just thought the way he strung that together gave me ideas. Like, that's just a really cool. But I would say to him, what you got to do is set the camera up on a tripod, hit record, and try to do the maneuver in the frame of the camera. Because he said he had to composite and move the clouds around, and he got got busy with it. Because the camera was moving when it was shot. But if you do it with a still camera, it'll make it a lot easier for you. Then we had Anders. Is that Anders?
That
was
Facebook
it.
Now, yeah.
That was it for Hobby Squawk. All right, moving over to Facebook. And who's this at the start?
Anders now. Yeah,
this is Anders? So Anders, unbelievable work. This is, I think, the first fully finished custom Gripen, and it might be the best one we're gonna see. Who knows? It's absolutely fantastic, and I can't wait to see it in the air. And I want to see your son fly it. You got to put him behind the sticks, man. We haven't seen him flying again since you showed us. Since I think initially we got Anders in here, gave gave them their notoriety when his son was flying the Avanti, I believe it was, or the L-39. But get that. GB, you call it SU. I get yelled at for that. Remember, we're like a global company. It's a sue. It's a sue. And from what everybody tells me, it's a Gripen. It shouldn't be called Gripen. But I watched some Swedish pilots who pilot the Gripen. They called it a JAS Gripen. Like, they say JAS, they don't say JAS. They call it a JAS. And I heard him say Gripen. It didn't sound like Griffin.
Let's hear it, chat. What is it?
So, I don't know. I like ripping the Gripen. It just works.
Ripping the Gripen.
Ripping and flipping the Gripen.
We got one for Gripen, not Griffin.
We're gripping. Yeah, that's what I believe.
I saw that comment on our video too. Someone's like, "It's Griffin, not Grippin." I was like, "What? That's the opposite."
It's Frode. Frode is there. I believe I said that right. I'm not getting into this like we did last week, but
we got
it's
Grippin.
Don't get crazy, GB.
Gripen.
That's so funny. Gripen.
Griffin.
Oh, see, look at this. Nobody can even get it right.
Let's move on.
Moving on, Anthony Melendez. It was Melendez. I added an X accidentally. With his Breitling Avanti. Gorgeous scheme. I think we saw this one with the L-39.
Yeah.
I believe this is an L-39 scheme.
L-39.
With this.
Yeah.
But he popped it into the Breitling scheme in his Avanti, and that looks mean. I mean, if we ever did another color scheme on an Avanti, go with something like
that. Looks amazing.
That, like that is absolutely stellar. So good on you, Anthony. Then we had Alex said we're going meta on this one.
We're really meta.
So last week I believe we called out Barry's OV10. Then he reposted this screenshot to our show. So we're gonna show it again, and
we're
maybe
calling Barry out.
So Barry, repost this screenshot again, and we'll see how deep the levels of Inception go in there. But either way, happy to see it again, and happy that people post the call-outs, because I'm glad it makes them happy. That's why we do them. Exactly. That's exactly why we do them. And then I was actually excited about this. A couple of Doras popped up, the 850mm flight line, with some tremendous schemes. And the first one is this Carl Bass.
Yeah. Carl
Bass posted this one, and this looks like he's got the fly wire on it. The weathering on it, like, I love it. Absolutely gorgeous. What we're seeing out of this one. I can't wait to see it in the air, because there's another one coming that another guy did, and it just looks good. I mean, he took a lot of time with this one, and it looks like a still, look just as good on the table. That's the hardest thing with planes, though. You can't, like, display them on the fireplace unless you get them in knife edge, like the wings, or you got to take one side of the wing off or something. But that looks display worthy, and
right here. Here's
gorgeous. And then Dejanovic Steve, I mean, that's what his Facebook name is, but this one looks gorgeous. And actually, he get to like picture 5, 6, and 7, because he posted twice this one, and but the first time he posted it, he has some stunning pictures in the air. Like the last 2 pictures, it looks almost real. There you go.
There it is.
That looks like our website picture.
Yeah, it's a great shot.
That's a great shot. That's a product worthy photo. Everything's in frame with that, what looks like an English cloudy day with the gray sky, but then a little more blue. But he did a great job too on the spinner. I always love the spinny spinner there. The hypnotizing spinner. It just looks mean. And it looks Axis, which is awesome, and one of the reasons we love him. But I think he did a fantastic job there, and I appreciate him for sharing. Then we had Gary Merkel. Gary Merkel, I believe, is a veteran, but he took out his entire Navy fleet. He's a Navy veteran, and he had all his Navy planes out on the runway for Veterans Day. And what an excellent way to spend your day. And it's just funny looking at it. I mean, obviously, I don't think they're all free-wing, but a majority of them are. And, we did the Navy some justice here with our selection from the F-8 Crusader, the Tomcat, the A4, the F-18, the A6, the F4. Yeah, I said the F4. Unbelievable. But looks good in the Navy color scheme. And actually, that's the one plane. I have it in the box. I have the gray. I've never seen up close. I've never unboxed the gray F4. So I have one here in the box. And I was kind of just holding it off if we ever had a show where we needed to fill some time. So if you want to see maybe next week, after we show hopefully a successful Maiden on the P-47, maybe we do an unboxing of the Ghost Gray F4. And then I'd be torn between the two schemes, because you got Hoot Gibson's the Rising Sun scheme, and the one looks like the Rising Sun on the back. Sundowners? I think it's the Sundowner scheme or the Ghost Gray. But I kind of like the blue and the skull on the Ghost Gray scheme myself. But either way, moving over, if you guys saw, so Jeremy Salt, he's the guy originally, I forget his name, Jeremy, if you're in the chat, or Justin, you might know his name. There was an original person who did the AWACS AL37. He crashed it, I believe, twice and decided he wasn't going to do it again. But Jeremy has taken on the challenge, and he posted a video of it functioning. He works with a guy, I'm forgetting his name off the top of my tongue, John Mansell, maybe? John Mansell. And that guy's a great in CAD. He makes a lot of 3D parts. So I believe they work together on, coming up with maybe a better way to do this than the way Joey Jorgensen, there it is. Maybe it's a better way that, I don't know. Did the having that AWACS bulb, is that why he crashed them both times? Or did he just make mistakes? Did he try to, because obviously, having that on top of your aircraft is not doing anything helpful for you. Unless you got a real, really cool. Instead of looking really, really cool, exactly, which is awesome. But either way, I can't wait to see that when it's done, man, which is awesome. He lost receiver signal. We're coming out. Oh, that's one of the quick tips that we tried to film. We're gonna do a video on one of the quick tips coming, is how to properly mount your receiver, at least a receiver that has two antennas. Talking about the 90 degrees, and we're trying to do it quick, and it's not going to be a technical video. It's more, I believe, a lot of beginners, or and some people forget maybe that you need that 90 degrees, and you have to make sure from all angles that the plane's in the air that at least one of those aerials sees your transmitter. Sometimes you put it in and it looks right, but then I know some guys go to the field, they range check in only one direction. They'll put the plane like where it is here, do a range check, yeah, that's perfect. But what about from the front? What about from 45 degrees? What about from here? What about from underneath? What about from the top? Like when I range check this on Monday, I'm going to probably spend an hour at least walking back and forth, cocking the plane, or I'll let Alex do it, and just from all different angles to make sure that at every angle, my receiver can see my transmitter. A lot of times, I think when it comes to these, signal losses, it's just you're at the wrong orientation and nothing can see. You got something blocking the way, But enough of that. Jim Jets with another, so this is another Gripen on its way, and he's almost finished, it seems. So I can't wait to see this in the air. Jim usually gets some good shots in the morning, in the sky, I should say. And he's the guy that has his own. He has his own runway in his backyard. Yeah. So he's a legend. He's a legend. He doesn't have to worry about any regulations. He just goes and flies.
Speaking of legendary.
And yeah, speaking of legendary, this isn't the first one we've seen, because Callie has the graphics, I think, available to just buy. But Joseph Sprading, I think, was new member to the Facebook group, and wha-bam, shows up with Iron Maiden, which is about the what's cooler than Iron Maiden on a jet. I mean, that's fantastic. Then we had Mike Whitaker. He got the Nexa, I believe that's the Hellcat, not the Bearcat. I think that's the Hellcat together. But then check this out. He put it behind his scratch-built B-2 bomber. Like, I dig the Nexa, the Nexa Hellcat, but I want to know more about this scratch-built B-2 bomber back there. It looks like the crazy split rudders on the outside are working. That looks absolutely fantastic. And I almost didn't see it. I thought it was part of the table. So yeah. It's doing its job. That's when I first saw the picture. So either way, good on that. Oh, and then Rhea, did you guys see this? So the first Gripen that at least we see went down, but it wasn't the plane's fault. It was those darn trees.
Which fingers? So,
and he posted a video of it, but I guess the guy who was holding the camera was too busy looking at the plane and not trying to film it. But you hear him, I guess it was his Maiden, and I think he made the mistake if he was doing a regular flight. It was his maiden, but he obviously felt comfortable immediately and just was doing aerobatics and stuff and ran out of battery power. So he tried to do a go-around, and he didn't have enough throttle to get up over the trees to turn back around, and he ended up in the trees. So, guys, on maidens, especially with a jet, take it up. Your first 2 passes should be getting it trimmed, making sure it flies straight, and then immediately start working on approaches. And if you have the first approach, you take it. You know, especially if you're not flying. Like, I don't fly with telemetry, so I will take whatever landing I have, look at my timer, say, all right, I was up in the air for 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes, check the voltage. All right, I'm at 46%, so I could probably set my timer to 2.5 minutes for next time, and then slowly build it up. And after 5 or 6 flights, you'd get to that point where your flying style meets what your battery requirements are, and you'll have a better idea. But, you know, always stinks to see that. But in all respect, that should be pretty easy to put back together, and you know she's going to fly even better the next time.
Justin said that'll buff out.
Yeah, that'll buff out.
Throw some dirt
you
on
know? Yeah, trim it, land it. Like with this P-47, I'm sure I'll be comfortable when it's in the air, but I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm going to get it trimmed, make sure it flies straight, and, you know, immediately work on approaches. Now that I've flown the zero, I know that they can slow down a little better, and I'm going to try to 3-pointer right on the grass like I was doing with the zero and call it a day. I'm not, you know... I mean, it took me now, what, it was about the 5th or 6th flight with the zero, I started going inverted and just going nuts with it. But, you know, don't need to fly it on the first one. Enjoy it. Just get it in, you know. Get that first flight in, over, nerves are out, you know she flies, then work your way up. That's a Carf B2, you guys said it's not. He said it was scratch built, so I guess it's not, so he's cheating. Or, he said, they're talking about a different B2. Oh, okay, gotcha. B2 would be interesting to fly for sure. Next one we got RKO Aviation Ott. That's his Facebook name. Thinking like Randy Orton with the RKO out of nowhere. But he's got a couple of birds. He said he pulled them all out, he said on his post within like a week and put them all together. So the A4, the F4 in the Sundowner scheme. There it is. I don't know if he did some weathering to it. It looks like he did some weathering to it. But he's got that, and AL-37 just hiding in the back. Oh, yeah, we got a lot. Ron Stewart then shows up with, I asked him, I want to see more pictures of the UH-60. That Huey there, that looks awesome. Love seeing the helicopter guys. I feel like they don't pop out enough. They don't pop up enough, if you will. It's, you know, it's more of a niche hobby. Obviously, price on the helis is, you know, for a lot of these big ones is up there. So I guess it's just little guys. And then we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, William Jackson. Have you seen this? He's enjoying his retirement. He said he's retired. He bought the tent, he bought fans, and he made himself an entire painting studio, and he bought an airbrush. So if you ever saw William Jackson, everything he's ever done is just Rust-Oleum rattle cans. So he's going, that's the MiG he's going with. And remember, we showed his wild canopy hatch that he's doing on the MiG. So now he's going to put it in that scheme, but he's going to do it with an airbrush this time rather than the Rust-Oleum. So William, keep posting, man. I want to meet this guy in person. I want to meet William one day. He's got great stuff, and you know, always excited to see what he does. Adam, I want an airbrush, James. Any idea when that will all be available in good old Europe? Right now, as I'm talking to you, I don't. But try to find me on Hobby Squawk or Facebook, and just remind me after the show if you want, or leave a comment on this video when it's done, just so I remember, and I'll ask. I mean, all that Benchcraft stuff is coming to the EU as well. It's just, you know, it's probably already on its way, I hope. But offhand right now, I have no way of knowing. It's just me and you here right now. And again, guys, I got the comments up here, and then Alex is when I do this, so I'm looking that way. That's why I try to hide that on the screen. I hate looking away. But is that it for...
That's it for Facebook.
That's it for Facebook. So now YouTube, we've got that Norwegian connection going on out there.
What are you starting with?
There's a whole nother... Well, let's start with... Should we start with... is it Johan? Johan with this MiG and Gripen flight. So this is another guy coming out of the same field that... you know, Jan is there, Frode, everybody. It seems like RC Tommy All these channels are all coming from this gorgeous field, but this was another. I saw this video pop up, and I'm like, it's another YouTube channel. You guys got to consolidate into one YouTube channel, but this looked stunning with the slow passes. Look at these two Gripen.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
And one of them was titled like Epic Fall Colors, which they got like when the sun hits the hills in the background, the oranges and the reds and the yellows, like absolutely fantastic, guys. And I only cut up about 30 seconds of these videos. I think this one is a minute.
It's about to end.
It's to push you to go, I think I always end it on a pass.
Yeah.
There's way more cooler stuff in these videos. You guys should go and watch them and subscribe to these guys, and you get to see more. Like, I'm never going to show the entirety of the video. That's like the teaser. I'm trying to push our 40-something thousand subscribers over to your guys' channels. Go check out what they're doing over there, because that field is awesome, and they've got the pilots. We got the skill, we got the tools, we got the talent. Little Ghostbusters reference. But either way, so let's stay in that vicinity. So RC Tommy, if you saw, we saw Jan, and is it Jan or do you pronounce it Jan? Do you pronounce it with the J? I always just say Jan. But let me know if I'm wrong. I owe that at least to you. So RC Tommy, yeah, play that one. This was, I guess, the better camera of Jan. Jan, much better. I'd prefer to say that. So, much better. But what I love about this video, the RC, I had to show this. I don't show much of the flying. Look at the little car, little European car. Fits the MiG. So, don't worry about transporting the MiG. If Jan's walking over there, he's got a mattress for it. He pulls it out and looks awesome. There he is, the man himself, the man, the myth, the legend. I want to fly to Norway just to fly with you guys. I think I want Alex to have that background to film with.
The Motion RC fan tour across Europe.
Motion RC fan tour needs to happen, but that takeoff looks awesome. And I love the way RC Tommy seems to cut his videos. He'll show you a piece from, like in this video, he shows you a piece from the ground, and then the same piece from the onboard, and then back to, the ground camera, back to the onboard. And I dig that. I like seeing onboard stuff. I know some people don't, but, I can't complain about the way this is filmed. But you might get yelled at like we do for being too zoomed in. We can't see how fast it is when you're zoomed in. I prefer it like that. Look at the sky. Look at the cloud. Like, I love that. That looks absolutely awesome. It's like, like Justin and Jeremy have those epic mountains in the back in Utah. It's amazing that literally they're on the opposite side of the world and flying the same thing. And the fact that we can all talk.
We're getting invites to France right now, dude. I'm booking tickets.
Well, we've been in France. I was in France. You were in Germany and Netherlands. I was in Germany, France, for RC back in the day, and I would love to get back out there. I enjoy it. And I remember when I toured, when we did that European tour, I downloaded an app on my phone that wherever you were, it would bring up the history of like World War I and II, at least World War II for the most part, of what was going on there during that time. So I remember just driving down these highways and seeing these rolling hills and like, oh, in 1942, there was, there would have been 3,000 tanks coming over. And it was like, whoa, like going to Europe, if you've never been, is worth it just for the history. It's like, American history is 200, 300 years. European history, you could drive down the block. Oh, that building was built in 1970. That was built in 70. That was built in 102. Like, it's crazy. And I always love it. So what else do we got? I think that's it from those guys out there. Oh, Air Guardian, show him again. Air Guardian is now, we're becoming like
Air Guardian channel number 3.
Yeah, he sent me this, but again, he has his Gripen and he's working out, I think last week we just showed his Maidens, but he's obviously playing with the CG and playing in the high alpha and getting dangerous. But I love it, so definitely check out Air Guardian. He has a lot of followers. I think he's at like 20 or something. There, yeah. He's been around.
And for good reason.
And for good reason, yeah. He's also has an epic background as well to fly in. And, go check out his flights too. The Gripen is, now I want to go fly the Gripen again.
Like, look Look at that mountain behind him.
Yeah.
We don't have that.
I want that.
I want that.
I want that. We all want that. But man. Well, there is a stone mountain in Atlanta. It's just a gigantic rock that looks like the moon. And there is an RC club. It's about an extra half an hour away that I've been invited to go fly. It's just a matter of the time of it all. Do I want to spend 2 hours, 2.5 hours in driving, you know, and then there'd be less time for flying. But maybe we'll do it. You know, this year just got screwed up. A lot of these videos we'd be making, we would have been making at events and be all different places. This year was just tough. We had to do everything at our show. At our field. So that's always tough. What else? Call me out, Alex. What's next?
We got Jeff from Lower Alabama, F-16 bungee.
F-16. Look at this. We're already at almost 1 o'clock.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna skip the Park Jet unboxings.
Yeah.
That was just gonna be for fun. We'll do the unboxings on these anyway, but.
Oh, he foot launched it.
Oh yeah. Jeff in Lower Alabama. Don't confuse this with Jeff in Upper Alabama. But Jeff in Lower Alabama, it's funny. Like, first it doesn't fire, and then, you know, when it does, I added, he does a slow-mo shot, and then I added an extra slow-mo shot. But there it is. But I never did a bungee off of, he looks like he just built it himself.
An EDF.
Yeah, PD, you know, looks like some PVC pipe maybe.
Oh, that's awesome.
Boom. And just the sound it makes, and then he has a still cam. Here it is. Boom. And then you hear him like, yeah, and then I slow it down.
We got the sound turned down.
Oh, you have the sound turned down? You could turn it up a sec. Is it there, or did I export it without sound?
It's there. It's probably slow motion sound right now.
But that looks awesome. I don't know if I'd be hand launching 70mm jets, but if you gotta do what you gotta do if you want to fly them.
Let's do it with the MiG.
Yeah, get some more bungees, man. Put the MiG on it, Jeff. Let's do it. That would be fantastic.
We got Icarus the Second.
Icarus the Second, guy we've seen Icarus flying a bunch, but he had his L-39. You can check out his channel, Pilots Frank Bourne, and just an awesome. You forget how fast that L-39 goes, and you know I always feel like you see the camel one a lot more than you see the white one. I still enjoy the red, white, and blue one myself, even though it's not an American red, white, and blue. I don't care. The red, white, and blue. Just those colors are my colors. I love them. So anything wrapped in any sort of red, white, and blue, even like the Gripen has the blue and red on the tips, like just looks good. I love that.
Then we got Flying Cat FPV, DJI with his P-47.
Oh yeah, and Flying Cat, it's funny. So he upgraded to that DJI system. We showed him with this P-51. Remember he was flying around the rocks? Mm-hmm. And he posted this video where it was what he used to see, and now that's how he sees it. Out his DJI reminds me of like the Connex systems, like HD, so it's like HD FPV. So obviously it costs a pretty penny, and you know, but worth it if this is what you're going to use it for. If you get that clear as day picture, you can't go wrong with that. Nothing's worse than you know, that's one of the downfalls of FPV still when you're on that, you know, that older type signal. It just, you're looking at a 480 screen when you'd rather be looking at a 19 by 20 4K probably with DJI, knowing that.
And our last one is our boy John.
Oh,
VHRC.
our boy John VHRC. Now I don't know what happened. It came out like 360. Go to his channel. The video is much crisper, but he put a speed gun on his T-33, or put a GPS, sorry, inside the T-33. And I don't show that. That's why I'm just teasing. You want to go to his channel, and it's him and GB over there, you know, doing their thing. I think GB, you're on the camera. That's why it doesn't look so great. I'm just kidding. But no, man, they do good stuff. But definitely check out John VHRC's channel as well. Give him a subscribe. He's got a lot as well, but also GB. You know, all you guys, you know, it's amazing what all of you do for everybody's channels, you know, but promote it out to other people. Get other people on these people's channel. You know, they're doing it on their own spare time. You know, this is work time for me. They're doing it after work for you, which is awesome. So either way, great stuff. So yeah, I mean, I have the Crusader here. Maybe you know what? I'll go another 15 minutes quick. I won't pull the Crusader out. I've seen that one. I have. So if you see behind me, I've got the Thunder Chief set up. I've flown. I've got the Lippish. I've got the Sabre. I've got a Panther behind the camera somewhere. The Crusader was actually, I believe, the first model that was the first Freewing release when I got hired here back in late 2017. So I had flown that one. That was one of the first EDFs that I was learning on, if you will. That and the Hawk came out about the same time. So I was so I was taking both of those to the field, and when I was learning EDFs, I nosed that thing in on hand launches over and over again. But the plan is I want to put together, so I want to get all the 3S powered 64 millimeter jets. It's been a while since it's been a while since I flew them. I think actually the last time, if Wesley Miller's still in the chat, when he came here, we went out on a super windy day. He brought his MiG-15 with him, and I had the F-86. We tried to fly those together. It was too windy. Then I lost my Captain America captured Lippish that I had. He took me out with his flight line P-51. But I want to get them all together and maybe make one video where we just marathon them. So have them all bound up, all on the table, and just one launch, 2 minutes, land, another one launch. See if you could just, because they all fly great and they all have their own little quirks. But this is the first time I'm seeing my own here. Well, not my own. These are all, motions. But first time in studio, I'm seeing the MiG-15, which I dig, because now we can get, now we can sit there and look good with the F-86 behind it. On the table. Oh man, this is awesome. I love saving this stuff. This is awesome. This comes with the. This is the type of stuff I get excited about. I don't know why. Don't you save it all? Like I save all the glue.
Just in case.
I save all all the extra bits. I have buckets of the little control horns that all the extras, all those hinges that they give you with every model. I have buckets of those things because you never know when you might need it.
You never know.
You never know. And then I move them around and then forget where I put them. They'd be better here. But either way, guys, if anybody's out there, when was the last time you flew a 64 from Freewing? They're so much fun. We just don't get a chance. So I'll probably bring one of these to at least do a quick maiden on when we do take out the P-47. But it's just funny. Look at the RC world we live in. You can get something like that, then you could get something like this. And, And look behind us. There's so many options, and this is just one of those that have.
What size pack did these
been out a while? These are all 3S, so I think this one probably fit anywhere from a 1600 to a 22 3S. Which, man, the 2200 3S was that was the go-to pack in RC from 2010 to 2015. That was it. So, if it didn't fly on a 2200 3S, people didn't want to buy it. That was the pack that. It seemed like every plane, every electric plane needed to fit a 2200 3S.
Dave said the plane is the size of the P-47 drop tank. He's not wrong.
That's so funny, actually. For some reason, they gave me 2 center tanks because this was a sample. So there's an extra center tank. There it is. It 100% is. So I don't even know what I can do with this. Maybe I'll try to. Well, this is center line.
Let's make a camera pod.
Would this have dropped? Ooh. Alex coming up with the ideas. Sticking that just won't fit a GoPro, but a run cam right in there. That would look sweet. I dig it. And then somebody wanted me to McCormick, just plain crazy, who was on our show a couple weeks back. He wants me to magnetically have be able to drop the bombs, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking about rigging to get the wire for the I had to solder an extra wire to get it in, and it wasn't actually hard. It was very easy. A lot of open space in the ribbing that you can pull things through. It's just working that stuff in. It's where's the time? Where does the time go, guys? Air Guardian, don't worry, you were on the show. You're late.
Don't worry, we called
Don't worry, you're spamming the show now. But put a drop tank on the MiG. You know what? No, what was that thing? The pulse jet.
Oh, yeah.
Stick this in the pulse jet, stick it under here, and call it a day. Then we had a friend when we lived in Long Island. Remember he put the Cox motor on. What did he put on?
Something really a rare bear.
You put it on a Rare Bear Cox motor, and with the Cox motor, like there's no turning it off. It's just 100% RPMs. So he just hand loaded it, and he flew it all the way around until it died and just glided it in. But he had found it in his dad's hangar.
Pulse jets are deafening.
No, pulse jets are deafening, but it would fit. I think it would fit. But either way, guys, so we were gonna spend more time here, but with the MiG-15, you get, same ordnance, I believe, as the F-86. Yeah, they give you the wing tanks. It virtually looks like the F-86. It's like, obviously, somebody was copying somebody back then.
Hey, man, can I get your homework?
Somebody cheated on somebody's test back then. But what we're going to do, we're going to make, it's been a while. We'll probably update the assembly video, which wouldn't take long, or we'll just make a video. But we'll come back with some flying videos of these in the future. I'm excited to get back into some of the Park Jets. So, what else do we got? Move to the closing Q&As on the table. Anybody else want to talk? Oh, Britta Ola, this is the Freewing MiG-15 64mm 3S powered
Beast.
Yeah, no, Park Jets, guys. There are 6 Park Jets that run on just your 3S power. Then a few of the other ones, like the F-18 I got, the 64mm, the F-22 and the A-10, they have 4S high performance. I don't consider them. They have landing gear and such. But these are like, we have 6 of them that are in this vein where it's, a 3S. I'll probably fly it on a 16. I like the 1600s or an 1800. Less weight is always better in these things. So for a day on these, I think you get anywhere from like 4 minutes on these. I mean, they glide around and then they can rip. They're so much fun. These are what in essence replace the fun fighters, which we're trying to bring back with the 850mm series, where get a bunch of your guys at the club. These are what, $98, I believe, some of them, or one a little over 100. You got 5 or 6 guys at the field. Each get one, and just, when you're in between while you're charging packs for something else, go toss these up and just, you're trying to hit each other, let's be honest. That's the fun of these, because you keep crashing them, glue them back together, and, they're supposed to be fun. So, But this one, it's just funny. I love, like, when you open a plane that was made, a while back, you see, like the differences. Like, you do have to glue on all your control horns on this one. With the Crusader, the Thunder Chief, and the Lippish were newer, so they feel more like the newer Freewing boxes you open. I always love opening an older Freewing box just to see, like, appreciate that they built things and then said, oh, how do we do this better? And you see it, I'm sure, with all manufacturers, but, with each one, they try to get better and better with how they do things in the next ones. But yeah, you just got your ESC in here, so you have to figure out receiver. Do they give you a hatch? So the motor hatch is under here. I'm sure I could peel that off. I could probably get the receiver underneath the tray is what I might try to do, because there's a lot of space. The tray is directly in the middle. I might be able to peel this off, cut a little hole, and possibly get even more space in there. But it looks like I'm going to have to cut the rods depending on where they go.
Fun story from Mountain RC Set B. The USA back in the day put out ads for someone to steal a MiG-15 and deliver it to us so we could study it because it was so dangerous. A little history.
Wow. A little hit.
That sounds like a movie.
That sounds like a movie that needs to be made. That sounds like a movie starring Tom Cruise. But
Caroline
here's the
Tyler RC said both of those planes right there were based on the same British Whittle jet engine, which is why they look so alike. Whittle?
Oh, if you guys saw, so I just did a video on the 80mm F-86. We released that yesterday with the high performance, and I forget, somebody commented on there. Oh no, I'm sorry. We have an ME-262 video coming, and I say in the video that it's funny that the first jet, which the 262 was, right, looks similar to, your modern jets, where it's funny that, the first jet made with the tuna cells under the wings, wide wingspan, ended up sort of going away to this. Like, this became sort of the next realm, right? With, like, the P-80 and the F-80, where one turbine going through, like, and this open nose was just the, seemed like the go-to thing. MiG-21, MiG-15 seemed like the go-to venture before they, I guess, moved back. it's just funny to look at sort of planes in their history and see how they, how they must have all played a part. But like, who was the person that's, oh, let's do it this way and let's not do it that way. Like, that's always fun to think about too. Oh, Dave's RC, I see you in here, man. The I want to see the Joker thing. I wish I'm not going to be able to get to the Mary Boozer show next week. Unfortunately, it's just not in the cards. But I did send him out a Gripen to give away in either a raffle or however they're going to do it at the show. He's got some swag coming his way from Motion RC, so we'll very much be there in spirit, but we're not going to be able to get out there. So you're going to have to... I can't wait to see your Joker T-33, and I 100% want to fly. David Snyder, I'm going to put Michael Keaton. I just like him overlooking the set too much. I'm going to get him in the Batman one. Shouldn't be hard. I'm going to get him in my Batman L39, and eventually Dave, somehow, some way, will meet up. In the future, so just don't crash it. But I can't wait to see it, and then call me out in that video, and it'll be there. We'll eventually get it done. So I think that'll do it for us, guys. It is about 10 after, so we're on the closing. Any questions while I'm here? I'll spend another 5 minutes. And any questions? So about the F-86 new 80 Miller High Performance, why the motor is different on the European website and US website. I'll have to check that, Arthur. I'm not sure. It's probably just an error, but the one I have is pretty much the motor that all the 80s are getting, the in-runner motor. I believe there's only one version of the in-runner motor, so if they listed the wrong KV, it was probably just an error in copy paste. But let us know about it, and we'll fix that. How do we feel about our competition with Horizon Hobby? Do you guys get along when you see each other? Yeah, I mean, why would I have a standoff with any of the guys who work? We all work in the same industry. Like, I met Jason before and Ali, and we all tend to do the same thing. There's no bit. It's like a Coke and Pepsi truck driver. What do they care? They're driving the same. They're just driving product. They're in the same. We're in the same boat. No, there's no competition. I don't see a reason. We both do our own things, and if anything, it's great that there are other options. As a hobbyist, like, I love when I see new stuff pop out. Like when FlexJet did that F-100, awesome. Like, that's awesome. Finally, there's another person out there, because isn't that better for everybody? When there's more options out there, we can only make what we can make, but here we just focus on what we do, and I hope they just focus on what they do. Like, we have our way about things, and we believe it works, so we're sticking to it, man. We're doing our thing. Yeah, I saw that new big Bronco looks fantastic. It's gigantic. That's probably double the price of this. It's big. It looks awesome. 3-plane had here, Anders. 3-plane had a problem. The main gear door. Yeah, I saw that, Andrew. You said the door fell off or something. But are you flying off of grass? Is it grass too choppy? Like, a lot of people ask me, why don't you take it off on the grass? And it's like, all grass is different. I can't speak to will a plane definitely take off of grass. It depends on how you cut it. Depends on the type of grass.
People are like, that's not real grass.
Yeah. If I do show it off grass, then you get people who complain the other way. Oh, my grass is so different. But you can't win with the grass. And our field has the grass off the back of the runway, but there's divots in it. It's cut, but it's not a runway. It's not made for grass takeoffs. Good to land on, like a big plane like this isn't going to hurt it. I prefer to land this on that grass off the runway. But taking it off on there, like, it's worthless. It doesn't add or detract from anything. I just say, for the most part, they will do things. Bryce, will you do a collab with Flight Test? I'd love to.
Yeah,
I believe
Zeta
at one point they had done, but yeah, get Alex to call us up. I'd love to go up there and visit their place and let them fly around Motion RC stuff. I remember back in the day when I sent them, they did a video on the Crusader and the Thunder Chief, if you remember. But they're so busy. They're like, again, they are an entertainment company, and they obviously, are a competitor in a way, if you will. They make their own type of type of kits. But they're great guys. I've met them in the past, and I remember I was at we were at Jonal the year they did the microwave plane, like they microwaved bacon on a plane, and it was awesome. You know, they're great guys too. I love watching their stuff. You know, the stuff I love to watch, but there's just so much content out there. I can't possibly watch it all. You know, like a lot of their videos I'll have to skip just to see the part. You know, I don't have an hour to sit and invest to watch how they did it on all of them. But, you know, that's everybody's videos. I mean, there's so many guys in here that are making content. I would love, everybody's doing a live show at night. I would love to be able to pop in all of them, but it's impossible. It's just impossible. You sort of just, you know, if I'm there, I'll pop in, you know, and that type of thing. But yeah, there's no, you know, I don't believe there should be any sort of competition amongst employees of companies that are in the same industry. We all want, everybody in this industry should all want our businesses to be successful, because then, you know, the hobby is doing well, right? You know, so the more players, you know, more game. We ain't afraid of a challenge. So bring it on, baby. Bring it on. We got Alpha, and I feel good with him in my corner. That's it. But all right, guys, I am now rambling. I don't see too much going. We still got 154 people in there. Sadly, only 69 likes, at least at this point. So what are you guys doing? Is it that hard
to, the show next
you know,
week.
even hit the dislike button? I don't care. You know, let your voice heard. Make a vote. But yeah, Samuel, you're right. Competition drives prices down, I'm sure. And then, you know, but also you see what people do, and then that breeds innovation. Competition breeds it all. Without competition, everything suffers. You get complacent, you know, but Alpha doesn't get complacent. Ever. Alpha has to beat the last version of Alpha every time with each one. He competes against himself. But guys, thank you so much. So it's Friday. Again, enjoy your weekends. There we go. Likes are coming up. Thank you so much, guys. Next week, the plan will hopefully be footage of this guy. So if Monday's a great day, we're going to save that in the first place you see it fly will be here, and we'll have, you know, a full flight video, you know, full flight review, if you will, but, you know, on it thereafter. But we'll show the first few successive flights on it as I gear up for it, and I'm excited. I'm excited. So Monday should be the day. Oh yeah, today's Friday 13th too. Any Christmas releases? F900, how do you know we didn't tease you today? How do you know we didn't tease you last week?
Oh, man.
How do you know? You know, nothing's over. You know, the year ain't over yet. It ain't over till it's over, but who knows? There's always something, probably, maybe, on the way. But either way, guys, that'll do it for us. George, thank you so much. You know, thank for everybody. I love doing this. I can't believe... Yes, I saw Stuart is back, and I still talk to Stuart, still love Stuart.
Great to see him back on video.
Great guy, great to see him back at it, and love that dude. We'll always love that dude.
Yep.
And either way, yeah, man, so that'll do it for us here. Again, next Friday, we'll be back, but now we're not sure what's going to happen the following Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving, because I don't think either one of us are working. So we might have a pre-tape show, or we might just take the day off. You know, maybe we'll just, everybody enjoy your leftover Thanksgiving, but we'll figure it out next week. And either way, guys, all you guys out there, thank you so much for spending time with me. And as always, we'll see you next time right here at Motion RC Live. Bye, guys.